I know I've mentioned this in many of my other videos, so finally I bring to you a video that tells you what I was tested on when I was at Hartford College. 3 things that you need to know before I jump into this video. I wanted to preempt this by giving you some background. I was accepted to Oxford PPE, to Hartford College. I made a video about each of my interviews, all my interview questions, details, professors, etc., and you should definitely go check those out. But most importantly, before you watch this video, you should definitely watch my overall Oxford interview experience, because that gives you a lot more context. I don't want to keep repeating the same spiel, but essentially this was shot a year and like 4 months ago. I would just like to say that I don't know why I was speaking so slowly in this video. Usually I don't. Quick plug, I recently read out my entire UCAS essay, and if you would like my UCAS essay along with like my edits, the other materials I reference, all of that fun stuff, go watch that UCAS video, watch it till the end, because I talk about how you basically can get the info. Go do that. Technically, you do not need to know any philosophy, politics, economics course knowledge to finish this exam. It lasted for like an hour and a half, which sounds like a lot, but it was really short for the 3 subjects. First section was philosophy, and then it was politics and econ. But they were given to us in this big packet, and then we were to finish all of them in whichever order that we favored. So I finished the econ section first because I flipped through the whole thing, and there were about 2-3 pages for each subject, and econ was the easiest just by looking at it because it was math. So essentially they just tested us like integration, derivatives, just very basic math calculation. You need like AP Calc AB plus like integration by parts, and you're good. It was pretty easy. If you flip a page, they give you more questions that are also math related but more like thinking. So one is actually pretty famous. You are with a group of people and you don't know how many people there are. Each of you have to guess a number from 1 or from 0 to 100. And your goal is to try to guess 2/3 of the average. And what they're testing here is the levels of like the degree of thinking that you are engaging in, and essentially what is Nash equilibrium / game theory. My personal answer was 0. I don't know whether I got it right or wrong. They never addressed it in my econ interview. Also go watch that. I'll link it down below as well. So the reason why I guessed 0 was just because I just assumed that everyone was extremely logical and knew like thought through the game and like thought about the most logical answer. Please go check out the links I linked down below and try to figure out this question for yourself before you go check them out. And then the other question was really fun. It was about rock, paper, scissors. And they said, you are playing a game of rock, paper, scissors. What would you play? What would you like throw out in each round to win the game? Now, it was fun because I didn't know that there was a formula to winning rock, paper, scissors, and after some research online, apparently there are some psychology like tricks that I'm not sure if they're real or not, but apparently it's like females are more likely to throw scissors, or like males are more likely to throw rock on their first try, something like that. But essentially you write down what you throw, and you write down what your opponent throws, and then you write down what you throw, you write down what your opponent throws, and then finally you write down the 3rd time what you would throw and why you would throw each of these. So I think my answer was scissors, 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 or scissors, scissors, and something that is not red and paper, so not rock. And I remember my reasoning behind it was like, people would not expect you to throw 3 things at the same time in a row, or if you throw this and they throw this, you maximize your chances of winning. So you finish that, I finished that section, and then you move forward to the philosophy. So philosophy, in first page, it's very intimidating because it was basically this ginormous list of syllogism / logical sequences, like some A's are B's, all B's are not C's, some A's are C's, true or false. And then there would be so many variations of these, and then it would be split into 2 sections. One section, it would just be A and B, and then second section would be like A, B, and C. And they would tell you whether are A and B descriptors or are A and B like inclusive of each other. Sometimes they tell you they're not inclusive of each other. Flip the page, and for philosophy, the other questions were things like show you a picture of a postmodern art piece. I'm pretty sure it's postmodern. So like the toilet, or like Jeff Koons, girl in bathtub, things like that. And then they would ask you, is this considered art? discuss your point of view. The other question would be like, here's an optical illusion. It was 3 triangles, black triangles, or 3 white triangles, and then the other, like the area that wasn't a triangle, also seemed to be a triangle. They asked you, is the shaded or is the non-shaded area a triangle? Answer in like multiple perspectives. And I think that was it for the philosophy section. But basically they would ask you, they would present you with a scenario and then ask your thoughts on that scenario. Okay, and moving on to the politics section, and the first question was, evaluate direct democracy over indirect democracy, or how can direct democracy be more effective than indirect democracy? Or something like that. Something regarding direct democracies and indirect democracies. And then the next question, essentially this fictional character is a very cruel being. She always wants to cause other people harm or something like that. She intends to do good one day, but ends up always screwing up whatever she wants to do. So the end result is bad. And basically it's asking you to make a moral judgment. Oh, there was another politics question where they asked, do certain groups deserve special rights? That's it. They also gave this quote from Martin Luther King. Can one example of injustice disrupt the overall state of justice? They also asked you whether are there different types of inequality in justice. And then there was one more about personal morality and like conventional moral systems and like reciprocation and things like that. That was more reflected in that question I mentioned about like the female fictional character. And then the last question in the politics section was actually something about statistics. So there were 2 actors in a situation, and one would have to try to outbid the other, and then the optimal range is this much, and then they would ask you like, oh, how much would A have to bid to get over B? Something like that. And there would be 3 small scenarios, and then we would answer that question. So that was basically it for the politics section. I know it sounds very little, but when you put it into context, an hour and a half is not a lot of time you have to finish this. So say the econ section along with like the 2 non-math questions and the math questions take you 20 minutes maybe, and then the politics section you have 4 to 5 short answers. So you write like lightning, and each short answer you take about 5 to 6 minutes. That will be about 25 minutes, right? 25 minutes, 20 minutes, that's 45 minutes. But then the philosophy section, you have like 30 plus of those syllogisms. Say you take 1 minute each, that's like 30 minutes. But say you're faster than that, let's just call it 20 minutes. And then you have the short answers, 2 to 3 short answers. Say you write like the lightning and you finish a paragraph short answer in 5 minutes. You only have 5 plus 7 minutes to check after this like tornado of working. And that's also assuming that you get all your short answers done within 5 minutes. So anyhow, there were a lot of people rushing for time around me. I personally finished it on time, but I was very nervous because my strategy was just kind of like write what is necessary for the short answers, put a star behind those that if I had time I would go back to write, but essentially answer the question first, finish all the sections, and then come back to it. So yeah, that's basically it. I basically give you guys all the questions. There were probably 1 or 2 questions, especially in the philosophy section and the politics section, that I forgot, and I think maybe 1 question in the econ section. But essentially, we never knew our grades. We did not know the class average. We didn't know what we got right and what we got wrong. The examination clearly says that it was simply to get an idea of how we thought and to reference this in the interview, kind of to let us know what kind of questions will be asked in the interview, instead of something that is actually evaluative. Now, whether or not you believe that is another thing. I personally think it's quite believable. The questions were not that evaluative. It's very difficult for you to grade your answers, I think, for tests like that, especially the questions we were asked. So yeah, that's it. Subscribe, like. If you want more videos about college, I will start posting videos about lifestyle, how to manage your time, how to study, how to do IB, MUN, more college videos, Oxford, UChicago, things like that. So subscribe if you like me talking, or you want more information, or if this was useful, and leave a comment down below if you want me to answer anything. If you have like specific questions, or like you want more videos on this, or I don't know, you want like a paper copy, anything basically, comment down below. I'll answer your comment as soon as possible. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it.